So now what is active transport and how is it different from the other transport mechanisms that we learned? The major difference is in active transport, your solute will enter the cell against a thermodynamically unfavorable concentration gradient. So we have understood what is concentration gradient, correct? So now what is thermodynamically unfavorable? When you had a high concentration outside the cell, the solute was entering the cell where the concentration was low, correct? Now for this process, the cell do not require any energy. So this was thermodynamically favorable because energy की जरूरत नहीं है, सिर्फ concentration gradient की वजह से transport हो रहा है. But in case of active transport, the cell is going to go against a thermodynamically unfavorable concentration gradient. Why? Because here the solutes are going to flow from low concentration to high concentration. So in active transport, the first difference is the flow of solute will be from the low concentration region to the region of high concentration. And since this reaction is thermodynamically unfavorable, this will not occur spontaneously. मतलब अपने आप नहीं हो सकता है, करेक्ट? वी सॉ हाई से लो वो अपने आप जाता है बिकॉज वो थर्मोडायनेमिकली फेवरेबल है, उसको कोई भी एनर्जी की जरूरत नहीं है, करेक्ट? बट हियर सिंस द फ्लो ऑफ सोल्यूट इज फ्रॉम लो कॉन्सेंट्रेशन टू हाई कॉन्सेंट्रेशन, this particular flow or transport is thermodynamically unfavorable. Got it? Thus you require energy in this particular transport. तो ये ट्रांसपोर्ट तभी होगा जब आपको एनर्जी रहेगा. Cell have to spend energy to bring a solute from a low concentration region to a high concentration region. ओके अभी ये क्यों सेल को करना पड़ता है? Why it is not satisfied with passive transport and facilitated transport? Why do it require active transport? Okay, that is the question, and the answer to it is here because bacteria are found in dilute chemical environments. When we grow bacteria in a lab, we give it a very nutritious medium, nutrient broth, then we have sap broth for yeast. So ये सारे जो मीडिया है, these are very nutritious. So very nutritious मतलब उनके जो solutes है, nutrients के जो solutes है, they are very high in concentration. But if you consider a bacteria which is living in a natural environment, तो वहाँ पे जो natural environment कैसा होता है? Dilute होता है. इसका ये मतलब है कि सेल के अंदर जितना सोल्यूट है उतना बाहर नहीं है, बाहर कम है. आउटसाइड इट इज लो, वेल इनसाइड इट कैन बी हाई. ओके, बट इवन दो द सेल इज इन सच अ डाइल्यूट chemical environment, there is a rapid rates of metabolism. Metabolism stop नहीं होता है, but the metabolism becomes rapid. Okay, metabolism in the sense once the solute enter the cell it undergoes metabolism. ठीक है, तो वो metabolism तो rapid हो रहा है, but the bacteria is found in dilute environment. Then how is the solute entering the cell? If the bacteria is found in dilute environments, it means कि बाहर concentration low है और अंदर ज़्यादा है, right? So how metabolism takes place? Metabolism can only be rapid when there is lot of solute entering the cell. ठीक है, so hence the bacteria is going to use this particular mechanism called as active transport. It is going to spend energy to transport these molecules. Fine. Now what happens because of this? Your bacteria can have 100 to 1000 times greater amount of solute inside the cell as compared to outside. एक्टिव ट्रांसपोर्ट की वजह से बाहर से कंपेयर करेंगे तो सेल के अंदर 100 से 1000 टाइम्स ज्यादा कॉन्सेंट्रेशन में सोल्यूट हो सकता है. Okay, because of this active transport, where you are transporting the solute from a low concentration to a high concentration region. Fine, so this is clear to everybody. So what are the principal differences between active transport and the other types of transport? First difference is here, transport is going to take place against concentration gradient. That is, if high to low, then it is towards or along the concentration gradient. If it is from low to high, then it is going against the concentration gradient. As well as this particular transport is thermodynamically unfavorable, while your passive and your facilitated transport were thermodynamically favorable. And the third point is, here the solute will flow from the low concentration to the high concentration region. And the fourth is, active transport is going to require energy, while passive and facilitated do not require energy. There is one similarity between active transport and facilitated diffusion. दोनों में एक similarity है, और ये similarity है कि both of them requires a transport protein. Like there was a carrier protein in case of facilitated diffusion, you will get a similar type of transport protein required as well as for the active transport. But then what is the difference between active and facilitated? The difference is, active will require a source of metabolic energy, while there is no requirement of energy for facilitated diffusion. Okay. Now there are various sources of metabolic energy. Metabolic energy देना पड़ेगा तब जाके आपका solute low concentration से high concentration में flow होगा. Correct? So there is various sources. One of the main principal source is ATP. So whatever ATP is synthesized inside the cell, and as a result of metabolism you get ATP. ठीक है, ATP प्रोड्यूस होता है मेटाबॉलिज्म की वजह से, और यही ATP यूज होगा टू गेट द सोल्यूट इनसाइड द सेल. फाइन. एंड दूसरा एक है अ ग्रेडियंट. सेकेंड इज कॉल्ड एज अ ग्रेडियंट. द ग्रेडियंट कैन बी इलेक्ट्रोस्टैटिक, मीन्स आयंस, pH gradient, H plus ions के concentration gradient, as well as secondary gradient. Will learn about the second type of metabolic energy in the upcoming lectures, and that is with the help of a proton motive force. So what exactly is this? Let's just get a basic understanding. Since there is a gradient, we understood कि जब भी एक gradient होता है सेल मेम्ब्रेन में, कब होगा? जब कॉन्सेंट्रेशन का डिफरेंस होगा, उस कंडीशन में मेम्ब्रेन में एक पर्टिकुलर फोर्स जनरेट होता है. उस फोर्स को बोलते हैं प्रोटॉन मोटिव फोर्स. So this proton motive force is generated in the membrane because of a gradient, and this gradient can be electrostatic, means ions के difference. pH gradient कब होगा? जब H plus और OH minus का difference होगा. by secondary gradient because of any other molecules. So ये जो molecules की वजह से जो gradient बनता है, उस gradient की वजह से आपको एक proton motive force generate होगा in the cell membrane, and you can use this proton motive force for moving your solute inside the cell, that is from a low concentration region to the region of high concentration. Okay. So one of the example to remember active transport is bore wells. Okay, you all know bore wells. So where is the water in case of bore well? It is very inside the earth, right? So we can say it is at low position. It is very low under the ground. So if this is the ground, it is very inside the ground, that is at a low position. You have the water. Now from this low position, if you want to take this water outside, if you want to take this water outside, that is high, मतलब ऊपर की तरफ आपको लाना है ना, तो क्या करना पड़ता है आपको? You require motors, that is you require a source of energy. Yes or no? So without energy you cannot take this particular solute or this particular water from the low region to the high region. So if you want to anything for a transport from the lower part to the higher part, then you require energy, and that is what exactly happens during your active transport. So as you can see here, we have these solute molecules which is outside, the green color ones, these ones. Okay, these are the solute molecules here. Okay, so you can see the concentration is high inside but it is low outside. Fine. So, and we are speaking about active transport. So what do you think will be the direction of the flow? Okay, so what do you think is the direction of the flow? It will be from low to high or from high to low? Yes, low to high is the correct answer. Why low to high? Because it is active transport. We are not speaking about passive, we are not speaking about facilitated transport. We are speaking about active transport. So in active transport, the solute will move from low to high, and for that what do we require? What is the main important thing we require to do this? Perfect answer. We require energy. Okay, so from low to high the solute is going to get transported, and these are the solute molecules. It got attached to the carrier protein. This is similar to your facilitated diffusion. We require transport protein in case of active transport itself. ठीक है? उसके बाद क्या चाहिए? Energy. So again we have ATP here. So once this ATP enters the scene, only then your solute can enter the cell. And then what happened to ATP? ATP gets broken down to ADP-PI. So basically क्या होता है? ATP के पास phosphate bond होते हैं, high energy phosphate bond. तब energy release होगा, and that energy which is released is going to allow the transport from low to high.